Hello, Canada, and welcome again to Deja Blue, the playoff run of the 1993 Toronto Blue Jays. Yes, it was October the 20th, 1993, the Blue Jays and Phillies meeting at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia for Game 4 of the World Series, with the Blue Jays holding a 2-1 lead in the best-of-7 series. Now, after sitting first baseman John Olerud in favor of Paul Molitor in Game 3, because as you're aware, it was a National League ballpark, National League rules, that meant no DH, Blue Jays manager Cito Gaston reinserted the American League batting champion Olerud at first. Now, prior to Game 3, Gaston had said, look, Molitor is going to sit in Game 4. But then that all changed after Molitor singled, he tripled, he homered, he drove in 3 runs in Game 3. So this left the Blue Jays manager with only one solution. He benched his third baseman, Ed Sprague, and replaced him with Molitor, although Molitor hadn't played third regularly since 1989. It was a gamble, but a gamble that Gaston said he was willing to take.
You had 3 guys that finished first, second, and third, and I think and it was Olerud first, Molitor second, and Robbie third as far as hitting in the leg, and so you don't want to have your second guy sitting on the bench. And you know, I talked to Sprague about it, and he understood it, and we were there to win.
Now, Cito had made the lineup change for Game 4, and he had also decided to go with a 4-man rotation as opposed to a 3-man, which was heavily rumored. This meant that Todd Stottlemyre would get the ball for the Blue Jays against the Phillies and their starter, Tommy Greene. And for more on the pitching matchup, here is Brendan Connor.
His last start was Game 4 of the American League Championship Series against the Chicago White Sox. Stottlemyre pitched 6 innings, allowing 6 hits, 5 runs, and he walked 4, and he took the loss. In his career as a postseason starter, Stottlemyre is 0-3, and his ERA is 7.97. But as he prepares for his first World Series start, Stottlemyre doesn't care about the numbers.
I feel very fortunate, and I'm excited about the opportunity. I'm very glad that Cito is going to give me the baseball. I'm going to go out there and, once again, like I say, I'm going to just try to pitch my ball game and try to make a healthy contribution to this ball club. I'm sure there's probably 9/10 of you guys in this room right now that have probably already called Vegas and got off me, but that's fine. So I'm just, I believe in myself, and it doesn't matter what you read, what you hear, what the mayor thinks. Todd believes in Todd, and I'm going to go out and do the best I can.
Stottlemyre is pretty much a career 500 pitcher, 62 and 63 to be exact. He feels, as do some of his critics, that he could and should be better than 500 if he could control his emotions.
Sometimes I get into a ball game maybe and get too emotional and too excited and begin to overthrow. I think that probably happens to a lot of guys in certain situations. It's, for me, sometimes it's one inning, to where maybe I get a little bit too pumped up and the game can get out of whack.
Philly starter Tommy Greene has made 2 career postseason starts, both this fall. He was brilliant in his last start, terrible in his first start. If Greene has learned anything in his postseason activity, it's the importance of staying confident.
If I'm on making my pitches, they got to hit me. If I'm struggling a little bit, I'm more or less, pitching to them. They're coming into their zone, but if everything goes, like I want it to go, it's, maybe we'll have some fun, and I'm just going to try to be real aggressive and go at them and make them swing the bat.
Tommy Greene was a perfect 10-0 during the regular season at Veterans Stadium, but he lost at home in the playoffs. Despite his success in Philadelphia, he doesn't see it as a big advantage.
I can't see any one thing that's really any different about this park. The ball jumps here too, just like it jumps in other places and different days, but it's just seemed the way it worked out this year. And you can feed off your fans if you want to call it that, but if you're pitching good, you can win anywhere.
As for Stottlemyre, he says he doesn't see this start as a chance for any sort of redemption for a so-so regular season.
During the regular season, every 5th day I go out to redeem myself, whether I did good, bad, or indifferent. I think that every 5th day as a starting pitcher, you go out to reprove yourself.
Now, as you'll see, both starters wouldn't prove anything other than how many hits and runs they could give up. Trust me, this one does get a little wild. All right, let's get to it. Start of Game 4, the 93 World Series from Philadelphia. Sean McDonough and Tim McCarver to call it for you.
Cito Gaston has Ricky Henderson leading off tonight in left field. Batting second, the center fielder Devon White. Roberto Alomar is the second baseman, batting third. The cleanup hitter, right fielder Joe Carter. Batting fifth at first base, John Olerud. Paul Molitor is the third baseman, batting sixth. Tony Fernandez at short hits seventh. The catcher, Pat Borders, bats eighth. And the pitcher, Todd Stottlemyre, will hit ninth.
The defense for the Phillies: Thompson, Dykstra, and Eisenreich in the outfield. Holland, Stocker, Duncan, and Kruk in the infield. Darren Dalton behind the plate, and Tommy Green on the mound. He pitches very well in this ballpark. 10-0 during the regular and 1-1 in postseason with the clincher, pitching the clincher against the Braves last Wednesday night.
And as Tommy Green warms up, let's check in with Jim Gray.
All right, Sean, I spoke with Paul Molitor, and he told me that he feels about a half step off out in the field and that he's playing tentative. He told me that when he takes the field at third base tonight, that it'll be the first time in a long time that he will feel uncomfortable. He said he's not quite close to panic, but he is a little fearful. Sean?
And Paul told Jim Gray on the postgame interview last night that he did not expect to play today, and that was the stated game plan of Cito Gaston yesterday. But Cito said he spent all night last night wishing that Molitor could play third base. He talked to Paul again today during the day, and Molitor said, don't worry about being uncomfortable with playing third base affecting my hitting, because it won't. I've been around long enough to be able to separate defense from offense, and I won't let it affect my hitting. And once Gaston heard that, he said, all right, you're in. Charlie Williams, a 13-year veteran of the National League, is the home plate umpire. He's working his first World Series. Tim McClelland at first base, Dana DeMuth at second, Dave Phillips, the crew chief, at third, Paul Runge along the left field line, and Mark Johnson is in right. It is drizzling as the ball game begins, and once they get underway, the decision to stop play is in the hands of Dave Phillips, the crew chief. Here's Rickey Henderson, who had 2 hits last night, raising his mark for the World Series to 3 for 10. First pitch of game 4, fastball for strike 1. And a ball low. A couple of times already Green has looked down at the mound. You saw him stop in the middle of one warm-up delivery and check out the mound, and he looked down immediately after that ball went in the dirt. Well hit toward the gap in left center, and in for a hit on the wet turf. It scoots to the warning track, and Rickey Henderson has a leadoff double.
Rickey Henderson led off last night's game with a base hit off Danny Jackson. And the one thing the Phillies do not want to do, they don't want to get their crowd out of the game early. And that's what happened last night when the Blue Jays scored 3 in the first.
Combination of the hour and 12-minute rain delay and the early rally by the Blue Jays really did take the crowd out of the game last night. As you could tell during our opening, the crowd is ready to go tonight. Devon White is the batter. And Green's first pitch to White is a ball low.
So many stories, connecting stories between these two ball clubs. Devon White, a roommate of the closer, Wild Thing, Mitch Williams, in winter ball about 7 years ago in Puerto Rico.
And Devon says, if anything, Mitch Williams has really calmed down since then. One can only imagine what he was like when he roomed with Devon White in winter ball. With the count 2-0, Dalton out to the mound. It wasn't all that long ago that it looked like Devon White's career was coming to a screeching halt when he was with the California Angels. Year to year, his statistics were going steadily downhill. Much of it the result of a personality conflict with then Angels manager Doug Rader. Devon White hit .217 for the Angels as recently as 1990 and was demoted to AAA during that season. Moved on to Toronto after the '90 season in a trade, and his career has been revitalized in a big way since then. And he walks on 4 pitches. We'll bring John Kruk in to speak with Tommy Green. Green admitted to being anxious in his Game 2 start in the LCS against Atlanta. And he settled down and pitched very well in his other start against the Braves. Roberto Alomar is the batter.
I think what players look for, especially in postseason play, is controlled anxiety. And you're going to be anxious, you're going to be a little nervous, and that's good. Can't go overboard, however.
5 balls in a row thrown by Green. 1-0 on Alomar. He looks down at third base coach Nick Leyva, former Phillies manager. Alomar had a big night last night that was somewhat lost in all of the hoopla surrounding Paul Molitor's terrific performance. Alomar had 4 hits last night, 3 singles and a triple. Along the left field line, Milt Thompson in a foul ground to make the catch for the first out of the ball game.
Alomar's night last night was so good. He was 4 for 5, as you said, Sean. And for those with at least 100 at-bats in postseason play, before that at-bat, Alomar a .362 average, and that leads all players in postseason. Of course, it'll drop about 2 points with that foul to Thompson, a huge out for Tommy Green and the Phillies.
Now Joe Carter 3 for 11 in the World Series. Joe hit a 2-run homer in Game 2 off Terry Mulholland. No score, just underway in the top of the first. The Blue Jays threatening with first and second and 1 out. Green's 1-0. Well hit. Great play by Hollins. And then his lob throw was not in time at second. White slid by the bag, but Duncan didn't realize it. And the bases are loaded with 1 out. Hollins made a terrific stop of the smash, but then couldn't get off a good throw.
Yeah, the stop was so good, buried in the glove. He couldn't get it out of the glove, and a little lollipop toss to Duncan. Duncan was trying to avoid the runner, Devon White, to the degree that he came off the bag and failed to follow up as White slides past the bag, and by the time Duncan went back to tag him, Devon had recovered. Brilliant play by Hollins, but the throw not in time at second. And Duncan's all right. A hard slide, a clean slide, but a hard one by White.
You would think Duncan would have seen that White went by the bag, since he went spinning right around and appeared to be looking right down at him. John Olerud, who did not play last night, looked at ball 1 down and in. He went 2 for 6 in the first 2 games at Skydome.
When a third baseman has problems getting the ball out of his glove like that, the second baseman realizes that the runner has time to get down to him, and he's trying to get off the bag and get the call. That's why he didn't see White slide past the bag.
2-0 on Olerud. Danny Jackson roughed up for 3 runs in the first inning last night. That set the tone for the ball game, and now Green is in trouble in the first inning tonight, and that's not much of a surprise. He had his problems for Jim Fregosi in first innings throughout the year. An ERA of nearly 7. A pop-up. Infield fly rule in effect. Kruk made the catch in fair territory for the second out. If you're scoring, credit Joe Carter with an infield hit on the smash down to third. Dave's and the 6th batter of the first inning is Paul Molitor. 6 for 11 in the 3 games to this point. He had 3 hits last night, a 2-run triple in the first, a solo homer in the third, and an infield hit in the 9th. Ball 1, low and away. Molitor said he did not feel comfortable at first base at any time last night, but yet it did not affect his hitting, and that's the point he made to Cito Gaston, trying to convince the manager that he could handle third base without it affecting his hitting tonight. In the dirt, blocked by Dalton, and the runners have no chance to advance. 2-0. The count on Molitor with the bases loaded.
Molitor also with some interesting comments in the paper today. He said that his hit that drove in 2 runs, the triple in the first inning last night, helped him relax on defense. He's in another position where a hit would help him relax on defense.
No score, top of the first. 2 outs and the bases loaded. The 2-0 to Molitor is ball 3. And Green hasn't come close with any of the 3 pitches to Molitor. Green has to come in with a strike, and he did not. He walks Molitor on 4 pitches to force in a run, and the Blue Jays lead 1-0. And pitching coach Johnny Podres is on his way to the mound.
Tommy Green has had 2 opportunities to get out of this inning without Toronto scoring. He got the pop-up the other way from Alomar, great clutch hitter, and then he got the pop-up, the infield fly rule, to John Olerud, a great clutch hitter, and then threw 4 straight balls to Molitor.
Ricky Henderson scored on the bases loaded walk to Molitor. It is Molitor's 5th RBI of the World Series. And the 7th batter of the first inning is Tony Fernandez. He's 4 for 9. He had 2 hits last night. Pair of singles. He drove in 2 runs. Five in a row outside the strike zone by Green, who has walked 2 here in the first and has surrendered.
You notice how all 5 pitches out of the strike zone have been low. It looks like Tommy Green is choking the ball. A lot of times when you are anxious and nervous, you're not throwing the ball normally. You have a tendency to grip it too tightly.
Well hit, base hit. White is in. Carter will score. And the Blue Jays, for the 2nd straight night, have taken a 3-0 lead in the first. A 2-run single by Tony Fernandez.
Frankie Frisch used to say, oh, those bases on balls. 5 straight balls and a fat fastball to Tony Fernandez, and he certainly takes advantage of it. Molitor to third has 2-run score. And the Blue Jays have already equaled last night's first inning.
6 runs batted in for Fernandez in the World Series. That leads all players. Pat Borders just 2 for 12. We saw a moment ago on a shot of Tommy Green that he has writing on the bill of his cap underneath. He has written on his hat the word aggressive. But that really wouldn't describe his pitching here in the first inning. It really looked like he was nibbling to several of the Blue Jay big hitters.
Very tentative.
Line to left. Thompson on the run makes the catch. After a half inning in Philadelphia. The Blue Jays 3 and the Phillies coming up.
Is your dandruff turning people off? Garnier Fructis Anti-Dandruff Shampoo helps kiss those flakes goodbye and smells amazing. It's proven. From the first wash, no visible flakes. Satisfaction guaranteed. Garnier Fructis Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. Garnier.
Protect your hair with Garnier Fructis. Hit tsn.ca/Fructis to enter the Garnier Fructis Ultimate Sports Fan Contest. You can go behind the scenes with Rod Black at a pro football game. Garnier Fructis, essential hair equipment.
Bud Light presents blatant marketing ploys.
Want an easy way to sell beer? Put a woman in a cowboy hat in your ad. Why? Because it's hot. We've tried other hats. Not hot. Not hot. Surprisingly hot. Blatant marketing ploy? Absolutely. But a woman in a cowboy hat doesn't make a beer great. Brewing it longer for a refreshingly easy drinking taste does. And that's no marketing ploy. Bud Light. Go on taste.
This is Scott. He can't stop pinching himself. Why? Because he just won access to tournaments with over $100 million in prize money. Now it's your turn to live the dream. Go to AbsolutePoker.net right now and enter a free qualifier for the Absolute Dream Pack. You could be the next winner in this unbelievable poker prize package. You can stop pinching yourself now. The Absolute Dream... Ow! The Absolute Dream Package. Pinch yourself. This is for real.
It comes with everything. Stereo cassette, 2D navigational system, automatic anti-theft device. But high-mileage cars can also come with engine wear, because they burn oil faster. So get Castrol GTX high mileage for superior oil burn-off protection. In lab tests of 10W30, 17% better than leading conventional oils.
Hey.
Castrol GTX high mileage. It's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah, Dad, look, noticed that the chip had become a crack. Hi, Sarah.
Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store, we'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great. Thanks. Hi, Dad. Apple Autoglass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Apple Autoglass. Canada's local auto glass experts.
Hello, Moto.
These All Brand snack bites taste awesome. These taste great. It tastes pretty good. I love All Brand snack bites.
New Kellogg's All Brand Snack Bites taste great. Really. Make fiber your friend with new Kellogg's All Brand Snack Bites.
Don't know jack about your credit? Stop clowning around. Log on to transunion.ca and get your credit report and credit score. TransUnion. Manage your credit, manage your life.
Fast-breaking sports news requires rapid delivery. Keep up with Tylenol Rapid Release Rapid Alerts on your cell phone. Register at tsn.ca/Tylenol and take the pain out of staying informed. Brought to you by Tylenol Rapid Release Gel Caps. Rapid Release, Rapid Relief.
I heard about you that you had some trepidation about going back and playing third base.
Well, I wasn't overly nervous about playing first because I had done it over the past 3 seasons. But when it came down to game 4 and 5, I told Cito I wouldn't be comfortable. Said, you know, when I came down to it, don't let that be the reason to hold you back from playing me, because I would love to give it a shot.
Lenny Dykstra leading off and playing center field, batting second. The second baseman, Mariano Duncan. John Kruk is the first baseman, batting third. The cleanup hitter, third baseman Dave Hollins, batting fifth and doing the catching, Darren Dalton. Jim Eisenreich in right field hits sixth. Milt Thompson is in the lineup tonight in left field, batting seventh. Kevin Stockard, the shortstop, hits eighth. And the pitcher, Tommy Green, bats ninth.
The defense for the Toronto Blue Jays. Ricky Henderson, the left fielder, Devon White in center, and Joe Carter in right. Paul Molitor at third base. He's the key defensively. Tony Fernandez at shortstop. Roberto Alomar at second. John Olerud at first, and Pat Borders behind the plate. Todd Stottlemyre on the mound, 11 and 12 during the regular season, but an earned run average around 5. And Cito Gaston telling us before the game, you really don't know how Todd is going to do. You don't know whether he's going to try to be a thrower or a pitcher. If he gets breaking balls over early in the count, then that's a good sign. But if he tries to blow the ball by the hitters, that is not a good sign, and I think you can look for Al Leiter at any signs of trouble in the early innings.
Particularly now that the Blue Jays are off to a quick lead. Stottlemyre started with a looping breaking ball to Lenny Dykstra. who has 6 home runs in the postseason as a leadoff batter, tying Hank Bauer and Davey Lopes for most home runs by a leadoff man in postseason play. And he has 1 home run in this World Series. He's 4 for 13, 1 for 5 last night. Up high, 3-0. Cito Gaston said, as Tim said, Stottlemyre needs to get the breaking ball over, but also change speeds. He has the tendency to rear back and try to throw everything hard. He has considerable talent, and it's been frustrating to the Blue Jays that he hasn't put it all together. And he starts on an ominous note, walking Dykstra on 4 pitches.
In order to be a pitcher and not a thrower, you have to stay ahead. You have to throw strikes early in the count so you can utilize your breaking ball. That is a bad sign for the Blue Jays. They score 3 runs, and Stottlemyre comes out and throws 4 straight balls.
Now Duncan, who's had a terrific series, 6 for 14. Taking all the way, he looked at a breaking ball for strike 1. Larry Bowa is the Philadelphia third base coach.
Mariano Duncan, an excellent bunter. We'll see if he takes advantage of Molitor at third base. He likes to lay the ball down and drag it. And the Phillies, if they get a lead, you wonder if they go out of their game plan and sacrifice more and try to bunt the ball down to Molitor, make him become involved in the action. But when you're 3-0 down, you can't do that.
High fly, shallow right for Joe Carter. 1 out, and Dykstra returns to first. We're in the bottom of the first, 3-0 Toronto. The top of the order has not been the problem for Philadelphia as they trail in the World Series 2-1. Dykstra, Duncan, and Kruk have combined to hit .436, but the rest of the team is hitting only .250. Kruk is the leading hitter in the World Series, 7 for 12, a .583 average.
Middle of the order has been killing the Phillies. 4, 5, and 6 spots, batting .198 for the first 3 games. They have got to have production from the middle of the order, as most teams do.
You raised the point about bunting, perhaps trying to exploit Paul Molitor. Molitor before the game said he didn't expect that the Phillies would do that. He says they're an aggressive hitting team. They don't like to bunt. I doubt that they'll go away from what has been so successful for them during the year. Breaking ball missed, 2-1 on Kruk.
An interesting note about Todd Stottlemyre and ground balls to third base. He has worked 176 2/3 innings this year, and there have been 33 balls fielded by the third baseman. That's about 1 every 5 innings. And with the left-handers the Phillies have up there, you'd have to think it was going to be less in this ball game. Unless you get a guy like Al Leiter in there, a left-hander, and then the Phillies move their right-handers in there, and that could change the picture. Something to think about.
Dykstra has 1 stolen base in the World Series in his only attempt. Letch Sprague did not have a single chance at third base last night. Check swing, looked like a good pitch. Called ball 3 by Charlie Williams.
Change up, just missed. I mean, just outside.
The cam line. The 3-1 is a strike. Dykstra runs. There is no throw. And Lenny Dykstra has his 2nd stolen base of the World Series.
With a count 3 balls and a strike, the catcher has a tendency to stay behind the plate a little longer than he would normally do. And the reason for that, he wants the strike. Borders stayed back there a little longer, and Dykstra steals uncontested.
And the payoff to Kruk, he struck him out. Good fastball by Stottlemyre for the second out of the inning. First strikeout of the night for Stottlemyre.
That's the best fastball he's thrown so far. Little extra giddy up on this one and in a good spot. Outside corner.
Dykstra is at second with 2 outs. 3-0 Toronto in the first. Here's Dave Hollins, part of that struggling middle third of the Philadelphia order. He's 2 for 11 with only 1 RBI through the first 3 games. Hitting coach Dennis Menke thinks Hollins is trying to hit the ball too hard. Perhaps he has a little extra adrenaline flow in the World Series.
It's the same for pitchers and hitters. Pitchers who don't pitch well try to throw it too hard, and hitters who don't hit well try to hit it too hard. If you're a hitter and you're trying for those 5-run homers, that's not the right formula.
Good pitch. 1-2 on Hollins. Galen Cisco is the Toronto pitching coach. Former football captain at Ohio State. Captain of a Rose Bowl team in the late 50s. The 1-2 is high.
Toronto trying to pitch Dave Hollins inside, and usually with big powerful hitters, that's where you try to work them in tight. They like to extend their arms.
Breaking ball just low, and the count is full. Fastball low. And Hollins draws the second walk of the inning thrown by Stottlemyre. Green walked 2 in the top of the inning, and the Blue Jays made him pay. So the tying run is at the plate. Here's another struggling Philly. Darren Daulton 2 for 12. Dennis Menke thinks his problem is that he hasn't been seeing the ball well enough, that perhaps his stance was too close, so they've gone to a more open stance. He took extra batting practice yesterday. Dykstra at second. He drew the first walk of the inning thrown by Stottlemyre, stole second, and Todd walked Hollins with 2 outs. Stottlemyre is 28 years old, from Yakima, Washington. 6'3", 195 pounds. He misses low and in. And that brings Borders to the mound with the count 2-0.
Sean, you mentioned Darren Daulton's problems. Some of those problems could go back to 18 months ago when he had the car accident with Lenny Dykstra returning from John Kruk's bachelor party. And he still has, at times, double vision in his left eye. It's not a serious problem, but it does bother him on occasion, and that could add to his woes here in the World Series.
The 2-0 is ball 3, and Stottlemyre is in danger of walking the bases loaded.
Jim Fregosi allows his power hitters to be swinging 3-0.
Three and 1 now. Certainly didn't look as if Daulton was taking all the way.
No.
He might have taken a rip if it was a pitch he could handle. That's ball 4 low. 3 walks have loaded the bases for Philadelphia in the first. The Blue Jays lead 3-0. Here comes Galen Cisco to the mound. There is no action in the Toronto bullpen. Jim Fregosi thought the key to last night's game was after Toronto scored the 3 runs in the top of the first inning, his team then squandered a great chance to score in the bottom of the first when they second and third and only 1 out. Fregosi said even if we only got 1 run in that instance, we would have felt like we were right back into the ball game. We would have had a little bit of momentum. Danny Jackson didn't pitch all that poorly after the first inning, but they did not score, and that set the tone for the rest of the night.
Yeah, the thing about that is you answer immediately. They score 3 and you come back with 1 or 2, you're very much more in the game. And if you were to end up with a 0, and the Phillies are facing that same problem right now.
Jim Eisenreich leads the Phillies in runs batted in with 5 through the first 3 games. Many of the fans on their feet, bases loaded, with 2 outs in the first, and the breaking ball missed low and in.
The crowd has returned.
Eisenreich had the big hit in game 2. A 3-run homer in the 3rd inning that gave Philadelphia a 5-0 lead, a lead the Phillies never relinquished. He takes all the way, and Stottlemyre poured it over. 2-1. Ball 3. Full count with 2 outs, and the runners will be off with the payoff pitch. Todd Stottlemyre is 1 ball away from his 4th walk of the inning and walking in a run. He's also 1 strike away from getting out of this inning unscathed. The pitch. Low. Ball 4, walk 4, 3-1 Toronto. Still no action in the Toronto bullpen.
And that's a surprise to me from what Cito Gaston told us before tonight's game. And as you pointed out, Sean, especially with the 3-run lead. Because the Phillies are going to continue to throw up left-handed batters to face Stottlemyre.
And if they stay true to their season-long form, they'll remain very patient and make Stottlemyre prove that he can throw strikes consistently. Thompson took the first pitch, as you might expect, and looked at a ball low. The Phillies have scored without a hit. It's 3-1 Toronto in the bottom of the first. Four walks in an inning ties a World Series record. 3 consecutive walks ties a World Series record. High, 2-0. Stottlemyre has thrown 31 pitches in the first, 21 of them balls. And time has been called Tony Fernandez has summoned the equipment man. Might be having a problem with a contact lens.
I assume that's legitimate. Tony appears, you don't know whether Tony, an experienced player, is just trying to break things up a little bit with the thinking that with Stottlemyre in that rhythm, he hasn't been able to find the plate.
If that's the case, he's taking one for the club. One eye drop or two, that is. But you wonder if this would help or hurt Stottlemyre. Certainly he's not in a groove right now. But this delay also might give him more time to think about the problems that he is having.
Like a field goal kicker.
Right. With this start tonight, Todd Stottlemyre and his father Mel have made history as the only father and son pitchers to start World Series games. Mel Stottlemyre started 3 games for the Yankees in 1964 against the Cardinals. 1-1, had a no decision in 1 and lost game 7 to Bob Gibson. He went head-to-head 3 times with Gibson. Todd Stottlemyre just threw strike 1. 2-1, the count on Thompson, the 7th batter of the inning. Well, maybe the delay. All of a sudden, Stottlemyre has thrown 2 strikes. Two and 2 with 2 outs and the bases loaded. 3-1 Toronto in the first. In the air to center. Devon White racing back at the wall. Can't get it. Hollins has scored. Dalton is in. Here comes Eisenreich. Thompson is at third and the Phillies lead.
Bases clearing triple for Milt Thompson. Coming into the postseason, Thompson had not had an extra base hit since August 25th. And in postseason, he has doubled, homered, and his biggest hit, a triple. And Devon White appears to be all right, as that right ankle appears to be stuck in that padding in center field. And then coming down, his right foot appeared to turn over, but he appears to be all right. And still no activity in the bullpen, and I cannot believe that.
Nor can I. 4 walks, a triple, 8th batter of the inning. Kevin Stocker, he bounced one foul. He went up there swinging at the first pitch, despite all the control troubles of Stottlemyre. So it's 4 runs on 1 hit for Philadelphia, 3 runs on 3 hits for Toronto. And what a first inning this has been. It's the first time in World Series history, in fact, that each team has scored 3 runs or more in the first inning. Lollipop curve missed. 1-1. Still no action. And you saw Al Leiter throw his hands up, perhaps as if to suggest, why isn't there somebody warming up?
I'm ready if you need me.
In many living rooms around Canada right now.
Yeah.
Well, Cito Gaston is known to be very patient with his starters. Sometimes too patient, in the opinion of his critics.
Patience over a 162-game season is a lot different than patience over a 7-game maximum World Series.
The 1-2 pitch. Slapped down to first. Olerud wins the race to the base, and that ends a wild first inning. After 1, the Phillies 4, the Blue Jays 3.
These All-Brand Snack Bites taste awesome. These taste great. It tastes pretty good. I love All-Brand Snack Bites.
New Kellogg's All-Brand Snack Bites taste great. Really. Make fiber your friend with new Kellogg's All-Brand Snack Bites.
you imagine the road not as part of the city, but as part of the planet? The super efficient low-emission i-VTEC engine in every Civic, only from Honda.
Where's the keys?
State your case, young man.
I'm having a poker night, and I'd like to serve some Keiths.
My finest ale would be perfect. Want to see my poker face?
Sure.
Ha-ha! To you, sir, the pride of Nova Scotia. Wilson? Ha! Never blink once.
What's worse than roots? Ugh, stripes. Only Nice and Easy Root Touch-Up has our color matching formula, guaranteed to give you a seamless match, not a stripe. Meet your match with Nice and Easy Root Touch-Up. Forget hair color that looks like one tone. Get 3 tones built in with the new Nice and Easy. Our unique color blend formula delivers highlights, dimension, and shine for beautiful, natural-looking color. New Nice and Easy with 3 tones built in from Clairol.
Bagel Boy.
Bagel Boy?
Yeah, every day, same time. Bagel Boy gets a toasted bagel.
Well, he's gotta have a name.
Bagel, eh?
Yeah, toasted, buttered, 12-grain bagel. Delicious.
Tim Hortons, right?
You know it.
Nothing beats a Tim Hortons 12-grain bagel with the goodness of 12 different grains baked right in.
Bagel Boy really knows his bagels.
Oh, forgot to get his name.
Always fresh, always Tim Hortons.
It pays to be prepared, especially when it comes to your credit. So before you make a big purchase, log on to transunion.ca and get your credit report and credit score. You could get better rates and save hundreds, even thousands. Now isn't that a bright idea?
This is Scott. He can't stop pinching himself. Why? Because he just won access to tournaments with over $100 million in prize money. Now it's your turn to live the dream. Go to AbsolutePoker.net right now and enter a free qualifier for the Absolute Dream Package. You could be the next winner in this unbelievable poker prize package. You can stop pinching yourself now. The Absolute Dream... Ow! The Absolute Dream Package. Pinch yourself. This is for real.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah,
Dad, look.
Noticed that the chip had become a crack.
Hi, Sarah. Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store. We'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great.
Hi, Dad.
Apple Auto Glass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Apple Auto Glass.
Canada's local auto glass experts.
Looking live at Todd Stottlemyre, who is still in the Toronto dugout. He just arrived in the dugout, spending all the commercial time on the field, being tended to. You saw the cut on his chin as a result of this play at third.
This is the most aggressive base running by an inexperienced base runner that you will ever see. The tag was hard. Stottlemyre tried to decoy Lenny Dykstra. It is cut off by Kevin Stocker. The throw is on the money. The tag is hard, but it appeared that he scraped his chin going over the bag.
And he slammed his own chin into the ground even before Hollins put the tag on him.
Yeah,
He
right.
was still chin to the ground after the bag, but it looked like perhaps his inexperience in sliding caused him to scrape his own chin before the tag was even made.
It's interesting that a pitcher is usually used to giving chin music and handing it out instead of receiving it.
Well, he gave it in this instance to himself. Well, the good news is he's going to be okay and will continue on. Bloodied by the Phillies in the first was Todd Stottlemyre, and by his own control trouble. Now that goes back to the point we were making about Cito Gaston, his concern that his pitchers would be hurt while batting or running the bases, and it didn't take long for that to become a reality. Fortunately, in this instance, not a serious injury. This is game 4. There's one game remaining to be played in this series here at the Vet, and it's tomorrow night. 8 o'clock airtime on CBS. That's Eastern time, with the first pitch at 8:12. And then game 6 and 7 if necessary at Sky Dome Saturday and Sunday. Von White and Joe Carter waiting as Stottlemyre warms up.
Obviously, it was not a good base running play, but because of Stottlemyre's inexperience, you tend to overlook that. He appeared to just get caught up in the excitement of the moment. Certainly trying to go to third base in that situation is not a good play, but pitchers aren't trained, especially American League pitchers. They rarely even talk about it. Only time they think about it is when they're on the mound and somebody tries to do that against them.
If you're just joining us, you've missed a lot. Toronto scored 3 in the first. Tony Fernandez highlighted the inning with a 2-run single. Paul Molitor's walk with the bases loaded brought the first run in. Then in the bottom of the first, Jim Eisenreich walked with the bases loaded. The 4th walk of the inning thrown by Stottlemyre to make it 3-1. Then with the bases loaded, Milt Thompson ripped the triple off the fence in center to score 3. And it's 4-3 Philadelphia as the Phillies come up in the second with batters 9, 1, and 2. Tommy Green, the pitcher, then Lenny Dykstra and Mariano Duncan. Tim mentioned that Green is a good hitter, and those numbers proved the point. A .222 average and 2 home runs. He drove in 10 during the regular season. Breaking ball for strike 1.
John, I've seen Milt Thompson play in the National League for 7 years, and I don't think I've ever seen him hit a ball as far to center field as he hit that triple.
Green lives up to his advanced billing. A line single into center field. Just the second hit for Philadelphia. And let's check in with Jim Gray.
All right, Sean, Todd Stottlemyre has a laceration and an abrasion above just below his chin. He came to third base here and he was dazed. Tommy Craig told us he didn't quite know where he was. They were unable to stop the bleeding during the timeout, so they're going to have to attend to him again during the half inning. Sean?
No bandage on the cut, and you could see Stottlemyre wiping the blood on his jersey. He is still bleeding from that cut. Lenny Dykstra took a strike on the outside corner. He walked, leading off the Philadelphia first, stole second, and scored, and he's none too pleased with the call of Charlie Williams.
He thought it was outside, and you notice he's looking toward the field. That's what players do when they argue with an umpire and try not to show him up.
Well hit down the right field line toward the pole. It is a home run. Case of the Phillies and his chin, Todd Stottlemyre can't do anything to stop the bleeding.
"5 feet fair." Dykstra led the Phillies with home runs against right-handed pitchers this year. He had 17, and belatedly the bullpen is up. It looks like Al Leiter throwing down there, but in my opinion, it's too late.
Still nobody out in the second. 6-3 Philadelphia. Duncan the batter. Mariano looked at a ball low. It's 2-0. It is Al Leiter warming up under the watchful eye of bullpen coach John Sullivan. Center, playable by Devon White. 1 out.
I guess baseball managers have game plans like football coaches. And for some reason, it appears that Cito Gaston went away from his game plan of using Leiter immediately to back up Stottlemyre after explaining that to us before the game.
John Kruk, the hitter, he tomahawks one to second. And Roberto Alomar threw him out.
Of course, that's by no means. There's still a lot of baseball left to play, and the Blue Jays, a very explosive offensive team. And if they can get to the Phillies bullpen, they could do more damage. Tommy Green now with a 3-run cushion after staking the Blue Jays to same in the first inning. What a
Green
game.
has by no means dazzled through the first 2 innings. Hollins walked and scored during the 4-run first. And he looked at ball 1 high. 6-3 Philadelphia in the second. 6 runs, 3 hits for the Phillies, 3 runs, 4 hits for the Blue Jays. That's low and perhaps a little bit inside. The 2-1 pitch is a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Base is empty. 2 runs in this inning for Philadelphia on the home run by Lenny Dykstra. It was the second home run in the World Series for Dykstra. The payoff pitch upcoming as Stottlemyre missed inside with the 2-2. Hollins fouled it away. Stottlemyre was already battling the mayor of Philadelphia before he took the mound tonight. Ed Rendell, the Philadelphia mayor, went to Sky Dome before Game 2 talking to some reporters. He said, "I'd like to bat against Todd Stottlemyre." Rendell saw a home run that Stottlemyre surrendered to Frank Thomas in the ALCS. He said, "I could hit him." Stottlemyre said he'd pay his own way down here to Philadelphia to pitch to him when the World Series was over. Borders catches the pop-up, and that ends the inning. And a 2-run homer by Dykstra gives Philadelphia a 6-3 lead.
Bud Light presents blatant marketing ploys.
Want an easy way to sell beer? Put a woman in a cowboy hat in your ad. Why? Because it's hot. We've tried other hats. Not hot. Not hot. Surprisingly hot. Blatant marketing ploy? Absolutely. But a woman in a cowboy hat doesn't make a beer great. Brewing it longer for a refreshingly easy drinking taste does. And that's no marketing ploy. Bud Light. Go on taste.
Lägg av.
Kört.
Now, buddy.
Oh, mince.
Damn it. Manage.
Jag kan signa i. Damp nochmal. Droge. Inte way. Det var nägigt.
गुड़ नाल विश का मिठा हो सर जी तो आई छती 1 मिनट देखी.
Learn for free at the world's largest poker school, partypoker.net. Everyone's playing.
Hello, Moto.
I changed my oil. Why worry about engine sludge?
You can't see sludge coming, but it can rob gas mileage and hold your car back.
Yeah, right.
Castrol GTX has an improved formula to stop sludge in its tracks.
Give me a burger, fries.
GTX's new dispersants neutralize sludge for superior protection among leading 5W and 10W30s.
And some extra napkins.
Castrol GTX. It's more than just oil. It's liquid engineering.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah, Dad, look, noticed that the chip had become a crack. Hi, Sarah.
Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store. We'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great. Hi, Dad. Apple Auto Glass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Canada's local auto glass experts.
These All Brand snack bites taste awesome. These taste great. They taste pretty good. I love All Brand snack bites.
New Kellogg's All Brand Snack Bites taste great. Really. Make fiber your friend with new Kellogg's All Brand Snack Bites.
Fast-breaking sports news requires rapid delivery. Keep up with Tylenol Rapid Release Rapid Alerts on your cell phone. Register at tsn.ca/Tylenol and take the pain out of staying informed. Brought to you by Tylenol Rapid Release Gel Caps. Rapid Release, Rapid Relief.
Don't know jack about your credit? Stop clowning around. Log on to transunion.ca and get your credit report and credit score. TransUnion. Manage your credit, manage your life.
Over 60 years ago, we began to work with Ferrari. What we've learned from our shared passion on the track, we've put on the road. Shell V-Power, Ferrari fuel for the road.
Sean McDonough with Tim McCarver, Pat O'Brien, and Jim Gray. Veterans Stadium, where the Phillies have bloodied Todd Stottlemyre for 6 runs, and they lead 6-3. As the Blue Jays bat in the top of the third, Joe Carter leads off. He had an infield hit on a hot smash down to third in the first inning, and he scored the third Toronto run. That's a very high pop-up. Up into the drizzle. And the most significant breeze of the series. Obviously, isn't any breeze except for the air conditioning at Skydome. It's a much windier evening here tonight than it was last night.
And the rain coming down too, Sean. Often on a routine pop-up, an infielder looks up there and it looks like 1,000 baseballs that are coming down. You just hope you catch the right one.
Flags would indicate that the breeze is blowing in, but in this circular stadium, sometimes the flags are deceiving. John Olerud, the batter. And he looked at ball 1 low. He popped out to the first baseman Kruk his first time up. Bit on the cool side as well here tonight. That young fan came well prepared. Ball 2, 2-1. And Al Leiter is still throwing. Stottlemyre would be the 6th batter of the inning. Strike 2, 2-2. Throughout his career, Todd Stottlemyre has had to deal with adversity. He's been labeled by many an underachiever because he has considerable talent. He's a hard thrower. Good movement on his pitches. When he is on top of his game, he can be dominated. Todd says no matter what people say about him and no matter how tough the times are, he has learned to handle the situation because of some tragic circumstances earlier in his life. When he was 15 years old, his 11-year-old brother Jason died after a 4-year battle with leukemia. And Todd Stottlemyre says, every time I go between the lines, I know Jason is watching. During the battle, Todd Stottlemyre was the who donated his bone marrow to help Jason along. They were extremely close. Paul Molitor is the hitter, with Olerud at first and 1 out. Well, 1-0 to Molitor. Rare swing at a bad ball by Paul, and it's 1-1. Green has issued 4 walks now, at least 1 in every inning. Chop foul. 1 and 2.
I think with Olerud at first base, it's another time to play John Kruk behind the runner. Molitor hits the ball the other way. He uses all parts of the field in which to hit. Olerud did not attempt a stolen base all year.
He is extremely slow. As a matter of fact, John said during the regular season that's the biggest reason why he thought it would not be possible for him to hit 400. That you need to get infield hits and leg hits, and he's not capable of doing that with as slow as he is.
I'll tell you, leading the American League in hitting, he certainly earned it. Very few leggers.
There was so much talk last night about Olerud, leading hitter in the league, sitting out. But if Molitor had been the one to sit out tonight, would have been the second leading hitter in the league. He had to go to the bench. He does go to the right side, and it's in for a hit. Eisenreich, a good play to stop it on the wet turf, and he'll hold Molitor to a long single. Olerud to third on the play. So here come the Jays right back at the Phils with first and third and 1 out.
Molitor going to right field. A fine play by Jim Eisenreich to cut this ball off on the wet turf and to position himself to make a good throw to second base and hold Molitor to a single.
So once again, the Blue Jays will bring the tying run to the plate. Tony Fernandez, who singled to right to drive in 2 in the first. He has 5 hits in the series and 6 runs batted in. He and Jim Eisenreich are the series leaders in runs batted in with 6 apiece. Tommy Green's first pitch to Fernandez, up and away.
If both teams go to the bullpen, the obvious advantage would go to the Blue Jays. The Phillies, early and middle relief, have been a very, very big problem with them all season long. That's why it's very important for the Phillies and Jim Fregosi to get a lot of mileage out of Tommy Green this evening.
Green has already thrown 60 pitches. And he's only 1 out into the third. Green is 26 years old. Big fella at 6'5", 219 pounds. Started his career in the Atlanta organization. Was out of options, so they put him in the trade to Philadelphia, along with Dale Murphy. Jeff Parrott, Jim Batcher, Victor Rosario went to the Braves in August of 1990. 1-1 to Fernandez. Is a strike, 1-2.
That pitch was nicely framed by Darren Daulton. If you're a catcher and you get a backdoor slider, the one thing you want to do is hold the glove there when you make the catch. See how Daulton just holds it and gives Williams a chance to make the call. That ball right on the corner.
Fastball right into the mitt. Well, perhaps Daulton was set up just outside that time. 2-2.
When the pitcher is that much ahead of the batter, a catcher will set up a little bit off the plate and hope to get the ball about 2 or 3 inches off the plate, and that's where that ball was. Just wide.
So level the count at 2-2. Borders is on deck, and then Stottlemyre is scheduled. And the count is full.
I think you'll see Molitor running here, even though the Blue Jays are down 3-2 by sending the runner on a ground ball hit to the middle infielders. You do prevent the double play.
Fernandez is a very tough man to strike out. He only whiffed 26 times and 353 at-bats after joining Toronto from the Mets. So Molitor does run, and Fernandez lobs one to right. It falls for a hit. Olerud is in, Molitor to third, and the Blue Jays are within 2. It's 6-4. Tony Fernandez with his third RBI of the night.
Molitor running, and it was a slider to Fernandez. And he pops it into right field. He is now 6 for 10 on the series with 7 RBIs.
And here comes Johnny Padres, the pitching coach, to the mound. There is action in the Philadelphia bullpen. It's right-hander Roger Mason. Of course, Fregosi had to dip into his bullpen early last night. Used Ben Rivera and Bobby Thigpen more than inning. Larry Anderson came in to finish off. Fregosi said it's possible we'll see David West earlier than his usual role in the 7th or 8th inning tonight because of the depleted bullpen.
You get the feeling that both teams are going into double figures tonight in runs scored.
I think so.
We might have one of those 12-10 deals.
Last walk wins. The way this one has gone. Borders the batter. He is the go-ahead run at the plate. The tying run is at first. And still only 1 out in the 3rd. Rod Stottlemyre is standing in the on-deck circle. But there is action in the Toronto bullpen. Al Leiter again. That indicates that at the very least Cito Gaston is thinking very seriously about batting with Stottlemyre. And why wouldn't he be? Stottlemyre has struggled mightily to this point. Base hit. And it's a 1-run game. Borders a single to left. Molitor in from third. It's 6-5. First RBI of the World Series for last year's World Series MVP, Pat Borders.
Hanging breaking ball to Borders. Holland's way off the line at third base, but Borders finds a hole. All 3 singles, Molitor, Fernandez, and Borders have been hit very, very hard. It'll be all for Tommy Green, and I think it will be.
It will be, and it will be all for Todd Stottlemyre as well, as he has been pulled back for a pinch hitter. Rob Butler was introduced as the hitter, and Roger Mason will be summoned by Jim Fregosi. With the score, the Phillies 6 and the Blue Jays 5 will return to Philadelphia right after this.
Over 60 years ago, we began to work with Ferrari. What we've learned from our shared passion on the track, we've put on the road. Shell V-Power, Ferrari fuel for the road.
There's nothing better than being treated like family. So when you join ours, we treat you like one of us with Ford family pricing. So now's a great time to join the Ford family. And to get your family price, it's simple. Just visit your Ford store or Ford.ca today.
Are you ready to change your life, look younger, and be stronger?
I went from a size 38 to a size 30 and lost over 70 pounds.
You too can get remarkable results with Bowflex Home Gyms. All it takes is one simple workout, 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week.
When they say you can work out 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, they mean exactly that. You've got to get this DVD. It'll change your life.
Call now for a free DVD that shows how you can get great results with Bowflex Home Gyms.
I gave all of my fat clothes to my fat friends.
Only Bowflex Home Gyms have Power Rod technology, the secret to getting a strong, sculpted body fast.
I am not embarrassed to take my shirt off. I look better. I feel better. My wife gives me that little wink every now and then.
Own your very own Bowflex Home Gym for no money down and low monthly payments. Be strong, be fit, be Bowflex. Call or go online now for your free DVD that tells you all about Bowflex Home Gyms. Call now.
This is Scott. He can't stop pinching himself. Why? Because he just won access to tournaments with over $100 million in prize money. Now it's your turn to live the dream. Go to AbsolutePoker.net right now and enter a free qualifier for the Absolute Dream Package. You could be the next winner in this unbelievable poker prize package. You can stop pinching yourself now. The Absolute Dream... Ow! The Absolute Dream Package. Pinch yourself. This is for real.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and student Sarah noticed that the chip had become a crack. Hi, Sarah.
Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store, we'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great. Thanks. Hi, Dad. Apple Autoglass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Canada's local auto glass experts.
Where's the keys?
State your case, young man.
I'm having a poker night, and I'd like to serve some Keiths.
My finest ale would be perfect. Want to see my poker face?
Sure.
Ha-ha! To you, sir, the pride of Nova Scotia. Wilson? Ha! Never blink once.
Hello, Moto.
Well, I forgot that I was actually on the roster playing the World Series, I think, because it was a total surprise. I was like, what? Hold on a second here. You're actually calling me to go into the game? There were 70,000 fans, so I stepped out on the on-deck circle, and I couldn't believe that I was actually going to get a chance to play in the World Series.
Philadelphia leads 6-5, and even though we're only in the top of the 3rd inning, this World Series is already the 2nd highest scoring World Series through the first 4 games. Only the Cubs and Yankees scored more runs in the first 4 games in 1932 than the first 4 games of this series. And of course, there's a long way to go tonight. These 2 teams, at the rate they're going, will shatter that mark, needing only 9 runs between the 2 of them to tie the rest of the way. Interesting that both Tommy Green and Todd Stottlemyre departed at the same moment. Green for a new pitcher, Stottlemyre for a pinch hitter. Here's Roger Mason making his 3rd appearance.
Roger Mason has worked 13 innings in postseason play and given up only 1 run. He gave it up in game 2 against the Blue Jays. This is his 3rd appearance of the series.
And native Canadian Rob Butler is up for the first time ever. in the World Series. He's a rookie in 1993. And he's a Toronto native. He's the 6th Canadian-born player to wear the Blue Jays Major League uniform. The others, Dave McKay, Paul Hogdussy, Denny Boucher, and Vince Horsman. Out of play, 0-2, the count on Butler.
They talk about the Phillies being a throwback. A lot of their players throwbacks. Well, Robbie Butler certainly a throwback. Looks like he could have been a player in the 20s with his socks up that high. It's fashionable now in Major League Baseball to wear your pants almost like pajama pants with elastic on the bottom.
I think George Hendrick was the first to go to the pair of slacks. A fashion statement that has been copied many times since. But you've seen pants worn much higher on several players lately. Jim Thome, another young player for Cleveland, who has the socks all the way up to the knee. Low 1-2. He tied him up. It's Weekly to first on a hop. Kruk to Stalker, and that's all they'll get. They erased Borders. The play goes 3-6. And now the tying run in the person of Fernandez is at third with 2 outs. Butler safe on the fielder's choice.
And I think that was probably the first time I did get to play in front of 65, 70,000 fans. And it was nerve-wracking, but I got through it. I got on base. It was a fielder's choice, but I was standing on first base, just proud as all hell that I'd reached base, and I knew I was going to score somehow because the way the game was going, we were going to score 100 runs.
When a ball isn't hit hard to the right side of the infield with runners on at first and second, the shortstop realizes he can't get the double play, but look at the fake throw by Stalker and then look to third. Perhaps allowing Fernandez to round the bag too far and then to throw behind him. That's a young shortstop with an experienced play, and that's what Jim Fregosi talks about when he talks about Kevin Stalker. And even though he had only 70 games this season, he is a guy that you'd think had been around for 10 years.
Ricky Henderson looked at ball one. He doubled and scored in the first. Fouled out to the first baseman Kruk in the second. Now on Henderson. Top 7 hitters. How about those batting averages in this series for Toronto? Marky Anderson, Johnny Oates, and other American League managers have said many times you can't expect to go through that part of the batting order without being damaged. More or less been the case for the Phillies in this series. Tying run at third, go ahead run at first, and a count of 3-0 on Henderson.
Thing about the first 6 players in the Blue Jays lineup, there are no soft spots. You can't pitch around any hitter. And now you have production out of Tony Fernandez. Pat Borders drove in a run in this inning.
And that's ball 4. Loads the bases and puts the go-ahead run in scoring position.
Phillies, on the other hand, are a tough lineup, leading the National League in runs scored with 877. But you can left and right the lineup. They have 3 regular players who are left-handed hitters, 2 platoon players in the lineup tonight, left-handed hitters, Jim Eisenreich and Milt Thompson. So you can make the Phillies make some moves, but not the Blue Jays.
Devon White, the 8th batter of the inning. Jays have scored twice here in the third to cut the Philadelphia lead to 1. Mentioned Rob Butler, native Canadian. He's the first Canadian on a World Series roster since Reggie Cleveland of the Red Sox back in 1975. Rob's a Toronto native. His family is from Butlerville, Newfoundland.
Named the town after him.
His ancestors settled the town. Everybody in the town was named Butler. That's why they did it. Base hit. Butler will have a chance to score the go-ahead run, and he will as the throw goes to second. A two-run single for Devon White. And the Blue Jays reclaim the lead at 7-6. First hit of the night for White. He's hit in every game in this series, and he's now driven in 5 runs.
He and Lenny Dykstra are the only 2 players who have hit in every game in the series. And the hits keep right on coming. You feel like a disc jockey up here, don't you? Spinning them out.
Those runs charged to Green. The run scored by Borders charged to Green. The run scored by Butler. The go-ahead run is also charged to Green. He is the pitcher of record. 7 runs on 8 hits for Toronto, 6 runs and 3 hits for Philadelphia. And the Jays have batted around here in the 3rd. Robbie Alomar, the 9th batter of the inning. He singled to center last inning. That was the inning-ending play as Stottlemyre was thrown out at 3rd, trying to go from 1st to 3rd on the single block. Butlerville, Newfoundland. I went to a softball game. Said every player on the field had the name Butler on his back. 200 families live in Butlerville, Newfoundland. What a thrill for Rob. His first World Series game, he scores the go-ahead run. Alomar took strike 2 at the knees. If you're just joining us, this game has been played in a light drizzle throughout. Rained almost all day here in Philadelphia. First and second with 2 outs. 3rd inning, 7-6 Toronto. The runners go. And it's a double steal for Henderson and White. Both with outstanding speed. And they were able to steal and move up without a throw.
There was no play on Ricky Henderson. There was, however, a play on Devon White. Watch how he delays to make sure Henderson runs before he runs. The trail runner must be sure that the runner at second base isn't faking going to 3rd. He's got to be sure he makes it. So a double steal against Roger Mason.
And 2 more men in scoring position. And those 2 runners are the responsibility of Mason. Green's line complete, 2 innings and a 3rd. And he allowed 7 runs, all earned.
You might think about walking Alomar in this situation if the count weren't 2-2. But I think Mason's going to try to get him to go after a ball in the dirt. The problem with that thinking is Henderson's on 3rd. Wild pitch, he scores.
The 2-2. Probably not what Mason meant to leave that breaking ball up high. And the count is full. Green 2 1/3. 7 runs all earned on 7 hits. He walked 4 and struck out 1. Relieved by 35-year-old veteran Roger Mason. Popped up and out of play. Game 5 tomorrow night. Airtime 8 Eastern on CBS. The first pitch at 8:12. Juan Guzman and Kurt Schilling in a rematch. Will be the Game 5 starters. Another 3-2 pitch. He's struck it out. We'll return to Veterans Stadium after this message and a word from your local station.
Planning to buy a vehicle in the next 2 months? One click at auto.ctv.ca will show you what you need to know and what you're missing. About low lease rates, finance offers, and great year-end deals. Auto.ctv.ca. Do you know what you're missing?
It comes with everything. Stereo cassette. 2D navigational system. Automatic anti-theft device. But high-mileage cars can also come with engine wear, because they burn oil faster. So get Castrol GTX high mileage for superior oil burn-off protection. In lab tests of 10W30, 17% better than leading conventional oils.
Hey.
Castrol GTX high mileage. It's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah,
Dad, look.
noticed that the chip had become a crack.
Hi, Sarah. Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store, we'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great. Thanks.
Hi, Dad.
Apple Auto Glass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Apple Auto Glass.
Canada's local auto glass experts.
Hello, Moto.
These All Brand Snack Bites taste awesome. These taste great. They taste pretty good. I love All Brand Snack Bites.
New Kellogg's All Brand Snack Bites taste great. Really. Make fiber your friend with new Kellogg's All Brand Snack Bites.
Don't know jack about your credit? Stop clowning around. Log on to transunion.ca and get your credit report and credit score. TransUnion. Manage your credit, manage your life.
This is Scott. He can't stop pinching himself. Why? Because he just won access to tournaments with over 100 million. Now it's your turn to live the dream. Go to AbsolutePoker.net right now and enter a free qualifier for the Absolute Dream Package. You could be the next winner in this unbelievable poker prize package. You can stop pinching yourself now. The Absolute Dream... Ow! The Absolute Dream Package. Pinch yourself. This is for real.
As I was saying, Sasquatch's small brain really limits his intelligence. It's the Columbia Brewery nestled in the mountains. One brewery, one brewmaster. There's even Glacier River. Hey, that's me. Look out, Sasquatch, I'm gonna get you.
Oh, you probably will, because I don't have a brain.
Where were we?
Limited intelligence.
Right. Glacier Fresh Kokanee. It's the beer out here.
Over 60 years ago, we began to work with Ferrari. What we've learned from our shared passion on the track, we've put on the road. Shell V-Power, Ferrari fuel for the road.
Welcome back to Game 4 of the '93 World Series, and I told you in the opening this one would get a little wild and that the starters would get roughed up. Todd Stottlemyre, cut chin and all, goes 2 innings, allowed 6 earned runs before getting yanked. Tommy Green, well, he didn't fare much better, giving up 7 earned runs in just 2 1/3 innings of work. And things have now been turned over to the bullpen. And when we were last with you, Toronto enjoyed a 7-6 lead in the 3rd, but due to time, I mean, we don't want to be here 10 years from now, we've moved ahead to the bottom of the 5th with a score tied at 7. And Al Leiter is in to pitch for the Blue Jays as we head back to Veterans Stadium.
Tim McClelland of the American League is the first base umpire. So halfway through the ball game, we're tied at 7. And Dave Hollins leads off. He's a switch hitter, a much better hitter right-handed. He had almost 100 points higher from the right side this year. He walked and scored in the 1st, popped out to the catcher Borders in the 2nd. Al Leiter's pitched 2 innings of relief. He's allowed 1 run. A bunt and a good one. Molitor not in time. first chance on a bounding ball down at third base, and he handled it cleanly, but simply had no chance to get Hollins on a good bunt.
Playing deep, and he does make a nice play on the ball. So even though Molitor did not get the out, possibly that primed him for a play later on in the ball game, as Hollins becomes the first Philly to take advantage of Molitor defensively.
And Hollins has been struggling. That might be what it'll take to get him going. Sure. Darren Daulton, another one, mired in a slump. Fregosi hates the word slump. He prefers to use the term mix-ups. He agreed before the game that Hollins and Daulton are experiencing mix-ups. Breaking ball for a strike, 1-1 on Daulton.
Well, and during the season, it is a mix-up. But in the World Series, in Game 4, it's a slump.
Well hit down the right field line. Carter drifting toward the pole. Home run! Perhaps that's the end of the mix-up for Darren Daulton. A two-run homer, and the Phillies are back on top 9-7.
How do you get out of a slump? Catch a slider on the sweet part. Daulton, with awesome strength, muscles the ball out and right and gives the Phillies the lead again.
And Eisenreich bunts the other way, a good bunt. Alomar can't make the play. He tried to duplicate the play made by Duncan, but Eisenreich has a bunt hit. So two bunt hits in the inning with the home run by Daulton sandwiched in between.
Hollins started the inning with a bunt down the third baseline, and now it's Eisenreich's turn. Way too late. Olerud misses the ball, and Cito Gaston wants to talk to Al Leiter now.
He has given up 3 straight hits here in the inning. 5 of the last 6 Phillies who have batted have had a hit. 2 of the 3 hits in this inning, bunt singles. Eisenreich's hit his first of the night. And the entire infield, with the exception of Fernandez, is involved in the conference of the mound. There is no action in the soaking wet Toronto bullpen. The rain has not dampened the spirits of the 62,000 plus of the vet tonight.
Milt Thompson here. Normally, with the pitcher coming up, he'd be the third hitter from Thompson. You wouldn't do that. But David West is up and throwing for the Phillies. Jim Fregosi telling us that he most likely would be the guy up tonight after Roger Mason.
Down the left field line, Milt Thompson has a hit. Eisenreich streaking toward third as Henderson plays it. He's waved around. Eisenreich will score. And the Phillies lead 10-7, a double for Milt Thompson.
Sometimes in a meaningless game, a guy can get an opportunity to play the next night. In the blowout last night, the only time Thompson hit, he hit a home run. That gave him the entree to play tonight, and he's driven in 4 runs with a bases-loaded triple and now a run-scoring double. But were it not for that home run last night, Incaviglia may have been the left fielder this evening. Terrific night for Milt Thompson.
4 straight hits in the inning, the last 3 by left-handed hitters against the lefty Leiter. Stocker, a switch hitter. Bats from the right side. He's 0 for 2 tonight. 0 for 1 against Leiter. He popped out against Al in the fourth. And the first pitch fouled away.
You could see Stockard trying to go to the right side, and the reason for that is Roger Mason is no longer in the game, or won't be, once the pitcher spot comes up, because Ricky Jordan is on the on-deck circle.
Still nobody out. Fifth inning, 10-7 Philadelphia. They've taken the lead with a field goal here in the fifth. 0-2 the count on Stockard. Bear in mind that the man warming up in the bullpen, David West, has never retired a batter in World Series play. Stockard down to third. Nice play by Molitor for the first out of the inning. It was hit sharply. Molitor fielded it, looked the runner back, and made the throw to Olerud, and it was right on the money.
Paul Molitor has played only 3 games at third base in the 90s, 112 games there in 1989. But he has such marvelous instincts. Situation where he's a terrific base runner, so he knew the base runner would come over if he didn't look him back. What could be a routine play for a lot of third basemen, it's understandable that it's not for Molitor this evening.
Ricky Jordan batting for Mason. Jordan 2 for 9. With a couple of singles. And West will be the new pitcher when we go to the top of the sixth. The Phillies will have at least a 3-run lead. It is raining very hard now. What was a drizzle all night is now a very steady and significant rainfall. And umbrellas pop up everywhere. Man charged with stopping the game. He deems it necessary is Dave Phillips, the crew chief, the third base umpire tonight. Fernandez throws out the pinch hitter Jordan for the second out.
There has never been a rain-shortened official game in World Series play. But it is really coming down here. And once the Phillies record their third out, this game is official. It's actually official right now.
Dykstra the batter. And he looked at a ball inside. He's been on base all 3 times tonight and has scored 3 times. He walked, stole second, and scored in the first, and a 2-run homer in the second. Just missed a home run with a double off the wall and right in the fourth and scored again. And he hits one deep to right. Forget about it. Way out of here. What a night for Lenny Dykstra. His second home run. He's driven in 4. He scored 4 times. And the Phillies lead 12-7.
Awesome. I mean, did he ever get all of this one? And he just missed a home run by 3 feet his last time up. 2 home runs, a double, 4 RBIs, 4 runs scored, and we're in the 5th inning.
So Al Leiter, who was so impressive in relief in gaining the win in Game 1, has been pounded by the Phillies tonight. He gave up 1 run last inning and 5 here in the 5th. And just as Stottlemyre stayed in to absorb a beating, Leiter continues on. Two home runs tonight. 9 for his career in the postseason. And a count of 1-2 on Duncan. You should know that Lenny Dykstra has fewer postseason at-bats than any of the players whose names you saw on that list. It is an official game, and the heavy rain has subsided back to the light, persistent nuisance drizzle. Duncan stings one through the middle. His second hit of the night. And the Phillies have batted around in the 5th inning against Al Leiter. And here comes Cito Gaston. 6 hits in the inning, 5 runs, a runner at first as Leiter departs, to be replaced by Mark Eichhorn. With the score, Philadelphia 12 and Toronto 7. We'll return to Veterans Stadium right after this.
I do remember in that inning when I gave up, I think it was a bunt, a home run, a bunt, and a home run. And they were playing Whoomp There It Is. Yeah. I guess it was a popular song back then. And the vibration on my face, I remember standing on the mound, I was feeling it. I was feeling it on my skin. It was, yeah, you know, like a loud bass that you would listen to on music. The screams of the Whoomp There It Is was, it was pretty intense.
Is your dandruff turning people off? Garnier Fructis Anti-Dandruff Shampoo helps kiss those flakes goodbye and smells amazing. It's proven. Wash, no visible flakes. Satisfaction guaranteed. Garnier Fructis Anti-Dandruff Shampoo. Garnier.
Protect your hair with Garnier Fructis. Hit tsn.ca/Fructis to enter the Garnier Fructis Ultimate Sports Fan Contest. You can go behind the scenes with Rod Black at a pro football game. Garnier Fructis, essential hair equipment.
Bagel Boy.
Bagel Boy?
Yeah, every day, same time. Bagel Boy gets a toasted bagel.
Well, he's gotta have a name.
Bagel, eh?
Yeah, toasted, buttered, 12-grain bagel. Delicious.
Tim Hortons, right?
You know it.
Nothing beats a Tim Hortons 12-grain bagel with the goodness of 12 different grains baked right in.
Bagel Boy really knows his bagels.
Oh, forgot to get his name.
Always fresh, always Tim Hortons.
This is Scott. He can't stop pinching himself. Why? Because he just won access to tournaments with over $100 million in prize money. Now it's your turn to live the dream. Go to AbsolutePoker.net right now and enter a free qualifier for the Absolute Dream Package. You could be the next winner in this unbelievable poker prize package. You can stop pinching yourself now. The Absolute Dream... Ow! The Absolute Dream Package. Pinch yourself. This is for real.
I'm Joanne Roberts, and I'm a piano teacher. A rock had chipped my windshield, and one of my students, Sarah,
Dad, look,
noticed that the chip had become a crack.
Hi, Sarah. Did you know you had a crack in your windshield?
Oh, right across the driver's side.
You know what? Bring it by my store, we'll take care of it. It's just not safe to drive like that.
That would be great. Thanks.
Hi, Dad.
Apple Auto Glass took care of everything. They certainly know what they're doing.
Apple Auto Glass.
Canada's local auto glass experts.
Bud Light presents blatant marketing ploys.
Want an easy way to sell beer? Put a woman in a cowboy hat in your ad. Why? Because it's hot. We've tried other hats. Not hot. Not hot. Surprisingly hot. Blatant marketing ploy? Absolutely. But a woman in a cowboy hat doesn't make a beer great. Brewing it longer for a refreshingly easy drinking taste does. And that's no marketing ploy. Bud Light. Go on taste.
Hello, Moto.
Welcome back. Game 4 of the 93 World Series, and Cito Gaston has now Al Leiter from the game after he allowed a disastrous 5 runs in the 5th. Tony Castillo has now come on and stopped the bleeding, but not before the Phillies jumped out to a 12-7 advantage. Unfortunately, because of the time and the length and this and that and all the runs, we're going to pick it up in the 8th with Toronto trailing now 14-9. And this one seemed to be out of reach for the Blue Jays, but hey, they're defending World Series champions. They still had some fight left in them.
In the back of your mind, you always say, hey, as long as we have a chance, as long as we have outs to make, we still have a chance. And that's the competitiveness of the ball club we had in '93. We never gave up.
I remember that game very well because it was cold and drizzling. And the thing about it, we all just kept chipping away, kept chipping away.
I think we can come back. I think all the time this team showed that we can come back when we're down. And that's something that we did all year round. And we had a lot of confidence, and that's what championship teams, they do. They come when they're down, they don't give up.
I always thought, you know, the game is not over until we make that last out, because we never had a deficit that we had to come back from that far during the season, but we had come back and won a lot of ball games during the course of that season. So, hey, our guys never quit.
And the top line says it all. Runs, runs, runs. A World Series record 23 runs for these two teams. The Phillies lead 14-9. They've been paced by Milt Thompson and Lenny Dykstra. They've combined to drive in 9. Dykstra has scored 4 times. Thompson has scored once. And we head to the 8th inning. Larry Anderson about to begin his 2nd inning of relief. He worked a 1-2-3-7. Roberto Alomar, Joe Carter, and John Olerud due up in the 8th. Alomar digs in with 2 hits and 4 trips. He singled a drive and a run and scored in the 6th against David West. Roberto's now 8 for 16 in the World Series. Anderson's first pitch of the 8th is strike 1. Like many relief pitchers, he works from the stretch even when there isn't anybody on base. And he's quickly ahead of Alomar 0-2.
That trend started about 8 years ago. Is when Bruce Sutter was with the Cardinals about a decade ago, I suppose.
Chopped down to third. Hollins just did get Alomar by a half step. This Sunday on the NFL Today, it's Terry Bradshaw's National Football Quiz. You know how many NFL coaches played in the league, or what famous kicker was known as the Toe? Tune in Sunday and test your knowledge on the NFL Today, 12:30 Eastern Time. And there's the menu of NFL games that follows NFL Today. Atlanta and New Orleans, Green Bay and Tampa, the early games. Joe Carter, the batter. That's toward the gap in right center, and Eisenreich races over to cut it off. And Carter has his 2nd hit. 2 singles tonight for Joe. He's 2 for 5. Mike Timlin is warming up in the Toronto bullpen.
First baseman John
And that's the first hit allowed by Larry Anderson, who's pitched an inning and a third. Now John Olerud.
John Kruk was holding Carter on initially, and Darren Dalton calling the attention to it from the bench. Actually, Darren to the bench, and they relayed that to Kruk. And John moved behind Joe Carter. No sense in holding a runner on. It's a remote chance for Carter to be running 5 runs down here in the 8th inning.
John Olerud says the first time he ever used a wooden bat was as a major leaguer. Through Little League and youth baseball, high school and college ball, he used a metal bat, aluminum bat, and then of course when he left Washington State, he went right to the majors without ever playing minor league baseball. His adjustment period to the wooden bat was as a major leaguer. He said that definitely affected him during his rookie year. Dalton out to the mound with the count 3-0. It is 14-9, but bear in mind that Mitch Williams and Kim Batiste have not yet appeared, and Williams is warming up in the Philadelphia bullpen. And that's ball 4. Anderson walks Olerud on 4 pitches. So the Blue Jays have only scored 2 runs since the 3rd. That's a very low pace the way this game has gone. Have first and second and 1 out. And here comes Johnny Padres to the mound. He'll need a new pair of shoes when the game is over. And Mitch Williams has been throwing for several minutes now. Dalton joined in the discussion. The batter will be Paul Molitor. His playing third base tonight has not been a factor. He's handled a few chances he has had cleanly. He walked with the bases loaded in the first, singled and scored in the third, flied to right in the fourth, and was hit by a pitch on the knee in the sixth. Davey Phillips, the crew chief and third base umpire, came trotting in from his position toward the Toronto dugout as if to ask Cito Gaston a question, and has returned to his position. Ball 1 low and away. All of a sudden Anderson's control has deserted him. He's thrown 5 straight balls. Six in a row.
And think of the dilemma that is building for Jim Fregosi. I mean, Mitch Williams, his problem is walking people, and usually he does it a first or second guy in the inning because it takes a period of adjustment for him to get settled on the mound. So it's imperative that Anderson throws strikes and that the Phillies get an out. I'm sure that's what Fregosi is thinking right now. How perilous would it be to bring Mitch Williams in with the bases loaded regardless of the score?
Down to third. Fair ball. Hollins couldn't play it. Here comes Carter around to score. Olerud to third. Molitor to second. And the Blue Jays are in double figures. It's 14-10. Molitor with another hit is second of the night and second RBI of the night. He's driven in 6 in the World Series.
It looked like Dave Hollins going to his right tried to field this ball on the in-between hop. He thought it was going to bounce up and it stayed down on him. Watch the glove go up. The ball went down and Molitor has a double, and that's what Fregosi's going to do. He's going to take Anderson out now, bring Williams in because first base is open, and that gives him a little slack as far as walking guys are concerned.
The Blue Jays again have the tying run in the on-deck circle. Wild things in after this.
Well, the thing I remember most about the World Series, we couldn't get Paul Molitor out. It didn't matter who pitched, what they threw, he was going to get a hit. But I remember being on first base. He was playing first base that night. And he got on first base, which was a shock. You know, he's on every bat. And I looked at him and I said, Molly, I said, does this remind you of spring training? I said, are we the best 2 teams in baseball? He looked, he said, this is like spring training, man. Every inning there's a new pitcher.
As I was saying, Sasquatch's small brain really limits his intelligence. It's the Columbia Brewery nestled in the mountains. One brewery, one brewmaster.
There's even Glacier River.
Hey, that's me. Look out, Sasquatch, I'm gonna get you.
Oh, you probably will, because I don't have a brain.
Where were we?
Limited intelligence.
right. Glacier Fresh Kokanee. It's the beer out here.
Herbal Essences Body Envy with extracts of white nectarine and pink coral flower. Luscious body. And bounce. Herbal Essences Body Envy Shampoo and Conditioner. For luscious body and bounce. Herbal Essences.
Number 14. 14. 21.
If your credit score is too low, you could be waiting a long time for a lower interest rate on home loans, car loans, even credit cards. So log on to transunion.ca now and get your credit report and credit score. No waiting.
Hey, Princess. Hotline number yet?
TransUnion. Manage your credit, manage your life.
It comes with everything. Stereo cassette, 2D navigational system, automatic anti-theft device. But high-mileage cars can also come with engine wear, because they burn oil faster. So get Castrol GTX high mileage for superior oil burn-off protection. In lab tests of 10W30, 17% better than leading conventional oils.
Hey.
Castrol GTX high mileage. It's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
ESPN Classic, where the legends come to play.
As far as Jimmy bringing Mitch into the ball game too early in the 8th inning, I really don't feel that was the case. You have to understand, all season long, Mitch was the go-to guy out of the bullpen for us.
You go at what got you there. I mean, sure, if you go back now and look at it, you say, yeah, we may have changed things and done things differently, but right then and there, that was the thing to do. They brought Mitch in to get outs.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Mitch Williams is in with 2 men in scoring position and 1 out in the 8th. 1 run in for Toronto. The lead is 14-10 for Philadelphia. This is the first game in postseason history that both teams have scored in double figures. It's the highest scoring game in Major League Baseball postseason history. The tying run is in the on-deck circle with Tony Fernandez at the plate. He's already knocked in 4 runs tonight.
And by the way, that ball hit by Molitor, I assumed it was a base hit. He was given an error on it from the get-go. Don't agree with that scoring. However, that's the way it stands.
Tough error charged to Hollins. It's the first error of the game. Base hit. Olerud scores. Molitor is stopped at third. And it's 14-11. And again, the Blue Jays will bring the tying run to the plate. Tony Fernandez with 5 runs driven in tonight. And 9 in this World Series. That is already a World Series record for shortstops, with more games to come.
He has been up 5 times, and in 4 of those at bats, he has driven in at least 1 run. Hollins dives for it. Ball scoots on by him, and it was hit so sharply that Molitor has to stop at third.
Tying run at the plate. Matt Borders took ball 1 outside. That is Mitch Williams' fiancee Irene. They will be married on December 26th.
Doesn't look like even Irene wants to see this. She's got the bill down over her eyes. Just a peek, however.
Hollins guards the line. The 1-0 is a strike. Borders 1 for 4 tonight. He had an RBI single back in the 3rd. And the towel is back over the eyes of Curt Schilling. A familiar pose during this postseason. Outside.
Where's the husband who said that?
2 balls and 1 strike. 3 balls and 1 strike. Williams 1 ball away from putting the tying run on base and bringing the go-ahead run to the plate in the 8th inning. Borders swung away on 3-1 as Williams poured it right over the middle, and Borders fouled it off.
Mitch Williams in there now. This might become the greatest game that nobody's ever seen. Gloves up in front of their face. Curt Schilling, a towel in front of the face. Mitch's fiance with the cap down.
The All Sports radio station in town has been encouraging fans to bring towels and put them over their heads because for Schilling it's been good luck. Some of the fans have followed that suggestion.
Some of the players too.
Well, a lot of the Phillies and their fans don't like to watch when Mitch pitches. A lot of the Phillies players and coaches admit they're going up the tunnel, so they don't have to watch. But more often than not, despite the theatrics as we've seen in this postseason, he gets the job done. Payoff pitch way outside, and the tying run is at first for Toronto, and still only 1 out in the 8th inning. The go-ahead run will come to the plate, and Ed Sprague is going to bat for the pitcher. And how ironic that the man who had to take a seat to allow Paul Molitor to play tonight comes up for the first time tonight with a chance to put his team ahead in the highest scoring World Series game ever with 1 swing of the bat.
He is a first ball hitter, a fastball hitter that is hitless against left-handed pitchers in the postseason.
On the corner, well framed by Dalton.
Sprague thought it was outside, was it? Could have been.
The 0-1. Pop fouled out of play, and Sprague just off the bench after watching for nearly 4 hours now is in the hole 0-2. He had a memorable pinch hit home run in Game 2 of last year's World Series off Jeff Reardon to give Toronto a victory. The 0-2. Strike 3. He went to the breaking ball, and the pitch called on the outside corner.
Now that slider for an 0-2 pitch with Dalton framing the pinging it back to his body looked like it had enough of the plate. May have been just off the corner, but certainly close enough to be called a strike.
Now Rickey Henderson. He looked at strike 1. He's 1 for 4, first inning double. He walked in the 3rd. Philadelphia 14, Toronto 11 in the 8th inning. Bases loaded and 2 outs for the Jays. Henderson is the 8th batter of the inning. Low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Molitor, the runner, at 3rd. Fernandez at 2nd. Borders at 1st. The 1-1. Line to center. Dykstra can't get it. 2-run score, and the Blue Jays are within a run. It's 14-13. Rickey Henderson has silenced his critics in the last 2 games. Those are his first 2 runs batted in this World Series.
2 hits last night, 2 hits tonight. What a big hit this was. Dykstra respecting the power of Henderson, especially with the tying run on at first base. Can't afford to give up a gapper, and a ball possibly that normally Dykstra would have caught drops in front of him.
So 4 runs in the inning for Toronto. Three of them charged to Anderson, one charged to Williams. He's responsible for the two base runners. The tying run is at second. The go-ahead run at first with 2 outs. In the 8th, Devon White slams one just foul. White facing his former roommate in winter ball from about a decade ago, Mitch Williams, and Devon has had the upper hand when they've gone head-to-head. White is 3 for 5 in his career against Mitch Williams, including a home run.
And a loud foul.
Apparently she did not have a towel. The 0-1 outside. White is the batter of the inning. The second time the Blue Jays have batted around in the ball game. They did it in the 3rd. Big swing and a foul tip into the middle of Dalton. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2 pitch. Little looper. Long run for Dykstra in right center. Can't get it. Borders around with a tying run. Henderson to the plate with the go-ahead run. 15-14 Toronto.
A slicing triple for Devon White that gives the Blue Jays the first lead that they have had since the 3rd inning.
Down to 3rd. Off the bat of Alomar. Hollins throws him out, and that ends the inning. 6 runs in the 8th. 15-14 Toronto.
I'm not sure I couldn't have kicked it home harder than I was throwing it, but you live for that situation, and they couldn't have pried that ball out of my hand with the jaws of life. I wanted to be in that situation. Bottom line was I just didn't get it done.
The thing is that a lot of teams in that come from a dome stadium in that weather, even though it's the World Series, it's like, you know, you're getting your ass beat like that, you give up. You know, you have a little give up in you, like, oh God, you know, we'll try to get them tomorrow.
It was one of the best World Series comeback, and it shows, you know, you never die, you never give up until the last out, and that's what we did.
Unbelievable what was going through that dugout and what was going through our minds, because you can see all the Philly fans. They were celebrating, joyous occasion, you know, saying we're number 1 and win this game. The same people that were saying that, when we went up 15-14, they had the biggest expression on their face, like, what just happened?
Over 60 years ago, we began to work with Ferrari. What we've learned from our passion on the track, we've put on the road. Shell V-Power, Ferrari fuel for the road.
I've been saying some controversial things about Molson Canadian. I've asked about this alleged true Canadian taste and wondered if it's brewed by Canada's oldest brewery. Does that really matter? Now, overall, people haven't reacted well, but the people here have treated me with respect and admiration.
Thank you, Alberta! Thank you! I've enjoyed your meat.
There's only one true Canadian taste, Molson Canadian Lager.
Are you ready to change your life, look younger, and be stronger?
I went from a size 38 to a size 30 and lost over 70 pounds.
You too can get remarkable results with Bowflex Home Gyms. All it takes is one simple workout, 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week.
When they say you can work out 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, they mean exactly that. You've got to get this DVD. It'll change your life.
Call now for a free DVD that shows how you can get great results with Bowflex Home Gyms.
I gave all of my fat clothes to my fat friends.
Only Bowflex Home Gyms have Power Rod technology, the secret to getting a strong, sculpted body fast.
I am not embarrassed to take my shirt off. I look better. I feel better. My wife gives me that little wink every now and then.
Own your very own Bowflex Home Gym for no money down and low monthly payments. Be strong, be fit, be Bowflex. Call or go online now for your free DVD that tells you all about Bowflex Home Gyms. Call now.
Sean McDonough with Tim McCarver back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, heading to the bottom of the ninth. The Toronto Blue Jays trying to protect a 1-run lead. And they have Alfredo Griffin in at third now, replacing Paul Molitor. We're at a very uneventful night, starting at third base. And he's grateful for it. Jim Fregosi, John Vukovic, have Mariano Duncan, John Kruk, and Dave Hollins. Meat of their order coming up. Batters 2, 3, and 4. Against Wayne Ward, who came on last inning and struck out Lenny Dykstra on a called third strike. With 2 outs and the bases empty to end the inning.
And they were playing the Rocky theme here at Veterans Stadium. And you remember that famous scene between Apollo Creed and Rocky Balboa in the 15th round when Rocky said, "What about a rematch?" And Apollo said, "Not going to be any rematch." Well, there is going to be a rematch regardless of what happens. That'll be tomorrow night. Game 5.
And if this score stands, Cito Gaston and the Blue Jays will have a chance to win the World Championship tomorrow night. Mariano Duncan, 3 for 5 singles in each of his last 3 times up. He's knocked in 1, scored 1, and had a stolen base. He swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Fernandez in shallow left, 1 out. Toronto pitchers have combined to retire 6 in a row. John Kruk has not been a part of the story tonight. 0 for 4 with a walk. Ball 1 outside. Ball 2 outside. Check swing, a strike over the outer third.
You know it's a long game when John Kruk has run out of bubble gum.
Ball 3 up and away. And now Ward is in danger of walking Kruk and putting the tying run on base and bringing the winning run to the plate. The 3-1 pitch. Big hack by Kruk. He was trying to tie it. You hear Eisenreich say base hit. He'll be happy with just a hit. Kruk was trying to tie it with 1 swing. Now the 3-2. He fought it off. Tough pitch by Ward, blown away from Kruk. Another 3-2. And another foul ball.
Day before the series started, Sean, Dwayne Ward telling both of us that in a game-winning situation, he would be unlikely, or it would be unlikely, for him to throw a breaking ball to a left-handed hitter. And sure enough, he has thrown 7 straight fastballs to John Kruk.
Strike 3. Kruk called out on a pitch on the inside corner. And the Blue Jays are 1 out away from victory in Game 4.
Ward had been staying away, and he jerks this fastball over the inside corner. Kruk diving out, a tailing fastball, and you can see how Borders frames the pitch. Very close. Looked like it was 2 or 3 inches inside. Rarely, if a catcher has to cross the plate, does he get a strike like that. The Borders did.
Now Hollins, high fly to center. It'll stay in the park. Devon White makes the catch. And the Toronto Blue Jays have won the highest scoring game in postseason history to take a 3-1 lead into the World Series. They'll have a chance in Game 5 tomorrow night to win their 2nd consecutive world title.
I think everything happens for a reason. That's my faith. That's what I believe in, and that I think they were destined to win. When you lose a World Series game 15-14 in that weather that we were playing in, and that was a tough game to swallow.
I tell you what, my father fell asleep, woke up the next morning and said, "You guys came back and won that game? You know, I turned it off when you were down 5 runs in the ninth, or 4 runs in the ninth."
It was just a complete swing of emotions, and I think when we did come back and we ended up winning that one, you know, I think everybody felt like, you know, that was the difference in the series.
In the locker room, it was like a high school football game. Guys were clapping in synchronicity, and it was just incredible. I mean, the atmosphere, we knew we had it.
The 15-14 game will always stand out. I mean, that had to be, in my terms, one of the best games, you know, from a fan standpoint, from a player standpoint.
That was the game that cost us the World Series. We all know that. And it was just a crazy game, man. We thought I think we were up by 7 runs at one time. And then with the crazy weather, we just couldn't shut them down. But that game was, that was a tough one to swallow.
What can you say? Simply incredible. The Blue Jays pull off the impossible, manage to come back, and then hang on, make the final 15-14, and more importantly, they are now just 1 win away from their 2nd straight World Series championship. Game 4, well, it set 3 records in a single game, including the longest World Series game ever, 4 hours, 14 minutes, most runs by both teams, 29, and most runs scored by a losing team. It certainly wasn't, but as you'll see in this pair of post-game reports, it was a night to remember. First, Ron Smith, and then ESPN's Chris Berman.
Well, so much for no DH in the National League ballpark. In this game, everybody was a designated hitter. Even the pitchers had a better night at the plate than they did collectively on the mound. This major league version of a Sandlot game saw many an ERA rise and many a record fall, including most runs scored in a major league playoff game.
I think it might just go down in the annals of one of the all-time games for a World Series game. It's unbelievable.
That was a wild one, but I'll take it. There for a minute, I didn't think we were going to be able to come back, but when they dropped that 5 spot on us. But, you know, our hitters just were patient, and we got into their bullpen. And, you know, David West, he's a good pitcher. And, you know, he got his out. You know, he hadn't had an out before, you know, 91, and he got an out tonight. And, you know, he was still in there, and we still, you know, beat him up a little bit, you know, and that helps. It always helps to, you know, get into their bullpen. And I don't think they're a bad bullpen, but that may be their weak spot.
The win erases, I guess, everything, because at this time in the year, to me, that's the most important thing. But by no means am I satisfied. I'm not going to forget tonight.
All year, these guys, they just never quit. They just keep coming at you, and of course the Phillies are the same way. You guys seen that tonight too. So that's why these two teams are right here playing in the World Series.
You know, this is a terrible loss. You know, everybody's kind of down about it. But tomorrow's another day, and we've rebounded all year, and it's really going to take a tough one this year.
Tonight I was a fan, man. I'm sitting there, man. I'm going just like the fans would be doing in my home park, man. I'm watching them, and ooh, and then ooh, it's a roller coaster, man. That's an exciting game.
Pitchers weren't throwing that bad. Both hitters on each side of the plate were just seeing the ball where or something, because both sides were hitting everything you threw up there. It didn't matter what you threw, where you threw it, everyone was hitting the ball.
And there's no big secret. I mean, he hit the ball. They hit the ball. Everything they hit seemed to find a hole. Nothing you can do about it. I didn't get him out.
I mean, we were down so many runs, you know, we kind of, not as a team, give up, but, you know, me being in the outfield, it was like, hey, well, you know, come back tomorrow, but we kept battling and battling, and in the 8th inning, bases loaded, 2 outs, and I was up. I was trying to leave the yard first pitch, but I hooked it foul, and after that, pretty much, I just tried to put the ball in play.
I really was just happy that I got out of that bloodbath without getting actual physical abuse. I was figuring, heck, I mean, they hit the ball. This guy's right. I mean, I knew that this was going to be one of those nights.
Well, something that I don't know if I'm going to be proud of it, but I'm going to cherish that moment, cherish that moment for forever, I guess. I mean, for as long as I live, because nothing lasts forever. But this, by all means, this has been the greatest game of my career.
Somehow lost in the shuffle is the fact the Blue Jays are now just a win away from their second World Series title. The Phillies, meanwhile, are now faced with winning 3 straight. Usually in baseball, 14 runs can win you 3 games. On this night, it wasn't even good enough to win 1. Rod Smith, TSN, in Philadelphia.
Game 4, 1993 World Series. Where do you start? Where do you end? How do you explain it? Why even try? 29 runs, 31 hits. Longest nine-inning game in series history. Starters battered and bloodied, literally. 15-14 Toronto.
I kept telling Dalton and, a few of us said, man, it's a slow-pitch softball game. I mean, 15-14, who would have thought that would have happened?
Baseball's a crazy game, as it was shown tonight.
For Toronto, it ended up being the best of times. For Philadelphia, the worst of times. In a season of wild games, games ending at 4:40 in the morning, 20 innings long, the Phillies, even in defeat, may have topped themselves. Words can't even express what happened.
Stunned? I don't know if you could say stunned. I don't know what the word would. You really can't say stunned. I think stunned is better than upset. I don't think anybody's upset at anybody else. I don't think it's anything like that. It's just a matter of what happened.
Definitely an historic game. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We saw it all. However, with another World Series title just 1 win away, the Phillies and starter Curt Schilling would come back. Schilling pitching a complete Game 5, hit shutout in Game 5 to force a 6th game at the Skydome. And then that's as far as this series would go, because in the 9th inning of Game 6 in Toronto trailing 5-4, Joe Carter hit a game and series-winning 3-run homer to give the Blue Jays their 2nd consecutive World Series championship. Now for everyone here, thanks for joining us and watching Deja Blue, only on ESPN Classic Captain.
And depending on which sector of either forestry or agriculture you work in, you'll have a significant part of it. For example, in Alberta already, the forestry industry is the single largest producer of electricity from bioenergy. People don't know that, but a very large amount. Most of it's consumed in their manufacturing processes, but they've already been, and for a long time, significant players in bioenergy. Going forward, of course, everybody's heard about biodiesel and ethanol, and in fact, there's been a recent announcement of an ethanol plant near Innisfail.
Innisfail's in the news right now because of the announcement by Dominion Energy that they're building the largest biodiesel and ethanol plant in North America, just on the outskirts of Innisfail. It's a really good location for it, right? It's just northwest of Niobe Elevator. Well, we were approached by Dominion Energy a few months ago. At that point in time, they had about 3 different locations they were looking at. And of course, they came to us looking for concessions and tax concessions and all sorts of things. And, we have the lowest mill rate commercial industrial mill rate in central Alberta, so that helped to attract them here. It's a $400 million project, so they've got an option on the land. The County of Red Deer is in the process of rezoning it to industrial. There'll be a lot more trains. We will have to provide sewer and water service to the new plant. Yeah, there'll be some infrastructure headaches, but we already have those. So. And I believe they chose Innisfail because it's the access to the railway. They got a mile that they need with access to the railway all along it. Water supply is no problem, and it's in a good growing area, and they need a lot of crop. I see spin-off industries coming to town because it's here, and I think it's good for the future growth of the town.
This segment of Energy TV is brought to you by RigZone.com, your gateway to the oil and gas industry.
Barley and ethanol is nothing new, but barley as a biofuel?
We'll tell you what's on the horizon right after this commercial break.
Energy TV is North America's leading oil and gas television news magazine, broadcasting weekly with a reach of over 6 million viewers. Energy TV reaches the decision makers for your oil and gas business. Our sponsors have enjoyed ongoing success with corporate features. Let Energy TV create a package designed to meet your business needs. Energy TV, end-to-end television advertising production for the oil and gas industry.
So the color of the Mattress and Box Spring don't match. During our mix and match, we're matching up first quality, one-of-a-kinds and factory extras. If you're not picky about color, save a lot during the mix and match sale at Sleep Country.
Cruiser by Cirque du Soleil. Tickets on sale at cirquedusoleil.com.
Take the Febreze 7-Day Challenge. For the next 7 days, make Febreze part of your tidy-up routine. Febreze finds odors and cleans them away as it dries to freshen fabrics, guaranteed or your money back. Spray on, freshness lovers. Spray on.
Surround your family with something they'll love. Try Charmin Ultra Soft. It's so soft you'll want more, but you can use less. You can use less because it's more absorbent than the regular kitten brand. Try Charmin Ultra Soft. Charmin!
Do you remember when the Conservative Party tried to divert our tax dollars for private schools? They also caused strikes and created a crisis in education. Remember they canceled after-school programs and slashed special ed budgets? Now we've had 4 years of peace and stability in the classroom. But the Conservatives are again proposing to redirect our tax dollars to private religious schools, putting public education back at risk. And that's what's at stake in this election.
Energy TV is North America's leading oil and gas television news magazine, broadcasting weekly with a reach of over 6 million viewers. Energy TV reaches the decision makers for your oil and gas business. Our sponsors have enjoyed ongoing success with corporate features. Let Energy TV create a package designed to meet your business needs. Energy TV, end-to-end television advertising production for the oil and gas industry.
New O. Henry Pro. Loaded with peanuts and 12 grams of protein. Great tasting O. Henry Pro. Make your mark.
Cruiser by Cirque du Soleil. Tickets on sale at cirquedusoleil.com.
Energy TV is brought to you in part by TELUS Wireless Field Ticketing, providing integrated wireless field ticketing solutions to the energy sector.
Welcome back. In order to maximize opportunities, investors need to stay on the edge of market developments. A new study looking at barley as a biofuel may mean the grain has potential to move beyond the cattle industry.
The purpose of the whole federal initiative is to be able to give farmers the opportunity to participate in the energy industry and to be able to have the ability to start their own ethanol plant, and that's the benefit for farmers and agriculture, is to be in the energy business.
Doug McBain, chairman of the project, says there's no doubt barley can make ethanol, but it's a matter of seeing how barley measures up to other crops like wheat and corn. And if it does, a new ethanol plant could be on the horizon.
It's not our objective to build an ethanol plant, but we want to have as much information available to any individuals or farmers that want to get together to build their own ethanol plant, to have the information available so they can make decisions on feasibility with the best possible information. The majority of barley is produced in Alberta. We produce 50% of the barley in Western Canada, so it would be natural to have Alberta as the location to do this research.
McBain says he's not at all concerned about an ethanol plant taking precious barley away from Alberta's cattle